So if remember, on the periodic table we have super heavy elements, but so far most of them they are unstable because the number of protons and neutrons ratio is exceeding 1.5. For an element, in order to be stable, it has to have at least the proton to neutron ratio at least doesn't exceed 1.5. What I mean, the protons don't have to be greater than the neutrons, and neutrons don't have to exceed 1.5. Okay, get me very clear. So what would it be the purpose of this if they existed in their stable forms like moscovium, livermorium? Okay, those heavy elements, what functions would they offer in their stable forms? So, and where would they be applied? So now, if you see these elements, because they are dense and heavy, they have a lot of electrons in just a small area. They have high conductivity efficiency, which I mean they can conduct heat efficiently, high energy heat, and you might find that these materials, they do, when they're exposed to heat, they can actually almost observe all the heat energy around in the area. As long as it doesn't exceed its melting point, it can absorb all that heat and can withstand very strong temperatures because of its electrons it has, and can withstand all that type of heat. So, and you might find most it can be used in various things like technology, where we can create really when it reacts with other compounds, maybe its oxides or its hydroxides, they have some properties of maintaining, keeping electricity. You know, when you have a lot of electricity electrons packed in a small area, there's a lot of a lot of current you can produce from that area. So these elements, if they existed, we can use them in medicine. Remember, our body needs minerals, so if it existed in a stable form, we can have a purest form that can be consumed and used by our body as fuel, as to power cells to fight organisms, because it would offer tremendous energy to the cells, and we can fight things like aging. Yeah, because these things, they have a lot of energy in a small area than consuming a lot of things just for you to pack up. Remember, this can have a lot of properties like these other minerals which are in our bodies. It can be also have properties of all minerals or small minerals combined. You just consume one and it can do almost anything. It depends on it and the isotope that is added in the food. Remember, different isotopes can have different properties according to the number of protons, according to the number of neutrons it has in the nucleus. Also, uh, neutrons can influence the behavior of an atom. When they exceed 1.5, the atom becomes unstable. So now we can have transparent. We can even have this metal, when it creates an oxide, it can be transparent. Imagine having a transparent LED screen that can store energy for itself. We can create a small battery because remember, with these materials we can create small tiny batteries which we can add to our daily lives, and this would be tremendous. So now let's describe an experiment where you can create such heavy metals. So people say it is impossible. It is possible, but let me tell you, if you have pressure, you have heat, you can withstand anything. So let me describe an experiment. So you need to have a really pressurized chamber which is thick. It is thick to withstand the pressure, the heat, and you need to have the reacting elements that are going to fuse to make the heavier element that we want, that is going to have a lot of remember, this can have two ways. You are going to put in a lot of energy, but when the cells are fusing, Also, a lot of energy is going to be released while these cells, while these nuclear cells of atoms are fusing. Also, so when they fuse, they are going to make a heavier element. You need to burn them out to 1 billion degrees Celsius. So if you have, for instance, if you have pressure and you have a gas molecule and you put it under pressure, now the wall, most people think that the walls will melt, no metal shall withstand. But if there is pressure and this gas is pushing outwards, it will push this gas more, it will push the walls of the gas chamber, which will prevent the gas chamber from melting. This gas, like helium or hydrogen, which has no neutron, because we want a gas that will not offer a neutron to the reacting elements that are going to form the heavier element or isotopes. We need to put in a really pressurized chamber, and that when the space, let me say, remember, atoms of metals are bigger than atoms of gases. So an atom of gas cannot, of metal, even if it is heated, even, let me give an example of the walls of the chamber under pressure, extreme pressure, when there is no, even those atoms, they need to be close of the gas, they need to be almost close, like they are being under pressure, and the space between them decreases, so that these elements which are below, which are reacting, they are put under pressure, and this forces the nucleus, pressure forces the nucleus of the atom to weaken, and the temperature which will force, and the electrostatic difference, actually by even applying voltage, will apply to break all the electrostatic difference between the atoms, thus making these atoms to fuse. They move into each other to fuse to make new elements, and this is by bigger atoms shall fuse with small atoms, just to attain a stable electron configuration or energy distribution configuration, because there's a lot of heat, and this atom and pressure, it needs to be heavier, because heavier elements, they can withstand pressure. So according to the pressure provided, it depends on the heavier element that you're going to create. Even if you have daily metals, like the chamber is made up of daily steel or whatever, as long as the gas is extremely under pressure and heated to extreme temperatures, not there, but even if a million, let me say, 1 million degrees Celsius, you will still have a byproduct, which is a heavy metal, and these metals, we shall have tremendous uses. Remember, having a metal that now, there's using that is the Seebeck effect, that those thermal converting electricity from heat, when having a heavier element, there's a lot of things and properties they can have, creating really strong magnets, creating really strong electrostatic forces that are repelling each other, or that are going to repel other molecules. Imagine. So you can create strong forces on a molecular level, and so guys, that's how we can create. There's no way you're going to prove me wrong. And the gas like helium, they say it can withstand a lot of temperatures, but once you put those elements into and under pressure, you are likely to convert them into a heavier element, and this pressure will be pushing on the walls of the chamber. Plus, as also the heat will be acting upon the the reacting molecules. So these atoms and molecules, they will start to bind molecule by molecule. They start to bind to start. They will start to the nucleus to fuse because of high pressure. Pressure will push them together, and they fuse to make a single element that can withstand all that pressure. They will make a structure that can distribute all that pressure throughout, because each metal has its own, yeah, it has its pressure where it can withstand. So we are trying to create a small star that can synthesize these heavier elements, which is possible by our today technology. So this feature is shall lead to creating strong batteries that can last almost years. Some heavier elements shall have properties of creating strong tiny batteries that can last years, creating even strong medicine, strong materials that can be used in aircraft, anything, just not anything in electronics. We can have tremendous breakthrough. The moment we shall discover this, the moment the world shall change. So I'm posting today here on this YouTube channel, and the first to describe this, so you can so I call this process some Collins pressurized chamber. So heavier element synthesizing chamber, so you can call it like that. Those who are going, because those who have the capital, you can put in this is works theoretically 100%. You need to make the walls of the chamber as thick as they can, even if it means they are in 4 feet thickness. That is good. And you must have one wall that is pushing that gas down to the extent that it is so pressurized that it has the space to each atom becomes small, that it almost, it's going to turn into a plasma, a really hot plasma, a liquid. Like you are pressurizing it until it turns into, using pressure to turn, like it is like the gas atoms become too close, that and molecules become too close, and they are like they are behaving like a liquid, and they are squeezing on the heavier element that is below. So guys, don't forget to subscribe. That's the work, and I keep posting, guys, for you guys to be educated. So thanks so much. You can do the experiment, because the moment you put in the work, because this will require some amount of investment, but people there who have the investment, you can put in, and once you discover this, is going to be tremendous breakthrough for the world. Things are going to change. We're going to be in a different era. Space exploration shall change, and things shall be a little bit more different. Okay.